Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing a book from Cassandra Clare, if you could not tell already, because that's some good stuff right there. Today I'm going to be talking about Clockwork Prince, which is the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, again by Cassandra Clare. And oh my gosh, I loved this book so much. Insanely good. This is so good. It doesn't have second book syndrome. It's not worse than the first book. In my opinion, it was better than the first book, but it's so much happens and so much is like, I loved it so much. So I mean, since this is the second book, I don't know what I can say like that's not spoilery. The writing is obviously A+ work. It's beautiful. So the way she describes things is my favorite thing in the world, and I love it so much. The characters you get to know even more than the first book, and it makes you fall in love with them even more. And oh man, it's good. I mean, so that's kind of it for the non-spoilery section. I suggest you go read this. And I say this in every video where I talk about Cassandra Clare's book. Read in publication order. So, City of Bones, City of Ashes, City of Glass, Clockwork Angel, City of Fallen Angels, Clockwork Prince, City of Lost Souls, Clockwork Princess, and then City of Heavenly Fire. And then now you can read Lady Midnight after City of Heavenly Fire. And man, I love it so much. Okay, spoilery section is up next, guys. The beginning of this book, we get Will talking about this curse that he has on him to Magnus, and about how when he was younger, like 11 or 12 or something, he found this box in his dad's like work office area thing, and there was a demon inside of it, and Will, being Will, he opened the box, and we find out that this demon cursed him. He cursed him, and he was saying that anyone you love will die. And it's not like for people who love him, it's anyone Will loves. So if Will starts to love anyone, they will die. And he believes this curse because right after the curse was said, his sister died. And, you know, it was heartbreaking. I felt bad for Will, and then he decided to leave and go to the Institute. And, you know, from there on, which explains why he chose Jem as his parabatai, because, you know, Jem's already dying. So Will loving him isn't going to affect him dying faster or anything. He's already going to die. And so that's why Jem and Will are parabatai. Also, this curse explains why he pushes everyone away, why he pushes Charlotte and Henry away, why he even pushes away Jessamine at times, and which explains why he's pushing Tessa away. Because we all know that they have feelings for each other. Will obviously likes Tessa, loves her even, and it explains why he's pushing her away after her first kiss. It's just all making sense now. Also in the beginning, there's this whole meeting with the Clave discussing about what to do with Charlotte running the Institute, because, you know, Mortmain, is it Mortmain or Mortmain? I say Mortmain. Mortmain attacked the Institute with the, you know, Clockwork Army, the automatons, whatever the hell they're called. And, you know, they're discussing what to do with her. Obviously, they don't think she can run the Institute if she lets this big whole thing happen there. People died. Traitors happened in the Institute. And, yes. And Benedict Lightwood wants to run the Institute, and he wants to run it really bad. So he's all for kicking Charlotte off of the throne, as you could say. But the Clave gives her 2 weeks. In that 2 weeks, she has to go find Mortmain. Mortimer, whatever the hell his name is. And, you know, that's going to be a tough job. So everyone's going to be on the hunt for Mortimer to save Charlotte from being dethroned, I guess. That's not, you know, she's not on the throne, but she's the head of the Institute, so she's going to be dethroned if she doesn't find him. So, going with the whole 2 weeks thing, the Clave made the 2 Lightwood boys. Actually, I don't remember if it was the Clave or if Benedict added this as a rule, but the 2 Lightwood sons have to go and help train some people to protect the Institute, sort of. So that's Gideon and Gabriel. Also get a backstory on Mortmain, and basically he was adopted by these 2 warlocks, and shadow hunters killed his parents because they were building an automaton army. Is that how you say it? Automatons. They were building all these clockwork things, you know? And they were building them to kill shadow hunters, so shadow hunters killed them. Hence Mortmain's hatred for shadow hunters. And also, we learn who the Clockwork Prince is. It's Mortmain. His dad said Mortmain was the young prince who's going to be controlling all the clockworks. So, hence, Clockwork Prince. Obviously, the apple doesn't far fall from the tree, because Mortmain's doing the exact same thing with these clockwork armies. Sophie and Gideon are having this cute little romance thing, and I'm like, I'm feeling it. They're so cute, but also Sophie was previously in love with Jem, and I mean, obviously she's still gonna have feelings for Jem. She's just not gonna be able to act on them because she is the servant, and Jem is obviously in love with Tessa too. So, you know, there wasn't anything she can do. And also, we learned why Gabriel hates the whole Institute place, because Charlotte is a Fairchild. Her maiden name was Fairchild. And the Lightwood sons were told that Charlotte's father basically killed their mother because of some big old scandal thing. But really it was their father who killed her, because he was like having an affair with a demon and he got the demon pox, and so he gave the demon pox to their mother, and she found out about everything, so she killed herself, which is all sorts of dramatic. So really everything just goes back to Benedict Lightwood, how he's awful. About Jessamine. So all through the nights, Sophie has been seeing Jessamine go in and out of the Institute dressed as a boy, and she doesn't see anything. And one night Tessa sees Jessamine go into her room dressed as a boy, but she again doesn't say anything. So one night Sophie's like cleaning, because that's what she does, she's a servant, and she finds this invitation to Jessamine from Benedict Lightwood with writing on the back, and she gives the invitation to Tessa, and Tessa realizes that it's Nate's writing. Obviously she's going to recognize her own brother's handwriting. So, and also Sophie like hit Jessamine over the head with the mirror, and I was like, you go, Sophie, you go. So they come up with this big old plan to transform into Jessamine and go meet Nate and find out what all this is about. And Will goes as her escort, which I was so happy for, because I just want them to be together. Like, I want Will, I'm not Will, I was gonna say I want Will and Jem to be together, but they're not Malik. I want Jem to be with her too, but I want Will to be with her more after finding out all this stuff about him. And I honestly would be Tessa, guys. I would not be able to choose Jem over Will for the life of me. So they go to the whole ball for Benedict Lightwood, and Tessa, who is Jessamine, goes and meets Will, and we find out that Nate and Jessamine are married. They're married. And Jessamine has been telling him all this information, and she hid, I forgot what the book was called right now, but she hid this book in Tessa's room to get her in trouble with the clave and all this stuff. And Jessamine was really just basically a traitor, so that's not good. We'll learn, well, we don't know if it's true or not, but we learn what Tessa is because she's a downworlder, but she doesn't have a downworlder mark, so we're like, what are you, sort of thing. Like, but what people are saying, or what Nate and all of them were saying, was that Tessa's mom was a shadow hunter and her dad was a demon. But from what all these shadow hunters know is that if a shadow hunter, has a baby with a demon or a downworld or anything, the baby becomes a stillborn, meaning the person is going to have a miscarriage and the baby's never born. So no one actually knows if this is true or not. So it's like we still don't really know what Tessa is in that aspect, but I'm pumped to find out. If a shadow hunter has a baby with a fairy or a Seelie, what is the baby still going to be stillborn? Because maybe the dad's a Seelie. Who knows? Well, I'm sure a lot of people know because I'm late on this bandwagon and people have read Clockwork Princess, so actually, I just don't know. Will Jem and Tessa go to this house because it's believed to be owned by Mortmain, and they have the 2 weeks to go find him, so they go on this adventure to go help Charlotte out, and we find someone there that wasn't supposed to be there, and that's Will's family. We see Cecily, whatever her name is, which is Will's sister, and they leave because there was this clockwork thing that basically told Will if he goes near them or says anything to them that it'll kill the family. So Will leaves, obviously, and all that. The amount of sexual tension in this book was off the charts. That scene where Will goes into Jem's room and they're talking and all that stuff, and they start making out and all this stuff. I was like, whoa, Tessa, who do you like? Tell me, please, so I know. And then at the ball, which is the night after this whole Jem and Tessa thing was, her and Will start making out again. And Magnus interrupts, and he said there was something in the punch which made them do stuff that they weren't supposed to. And Tessa took that as, oh, Will didn't actually want to do the stuff, neither did she. So I was like, no, guys, you would have done this anyways, even if you didn't drink the punch. A storyline that I loved so much was Charlotte and Henry. So throughout Clockwork Angel and, halfway through Clockwork Prince, Henry's always just working on his inventions, and he's not really with Charlotte or anything. And there's just this huge misunderstanding between them all because Charlotte thought Henry only married him because of his dad's money, and she thought Henry's dad wanted the money too, so that's what Charlotte thought. And Henry thought Charlotte only married him to get a man, to marry a man to run the institute with. And man, there's just a big misunderstanding. Then they realized that they both are actually really in love with each other, and that there wasn't anything that made them want to marry each other except for love. It's like, you two are cute. You two are cute. Henry also invented this device to blow up the automatons. I still don't know if I'm saying that right. But the Clockwork Army, he found a way to blow them up, to stop them and all this stuff. We don't know if it works until we actually go face to face with some of the Clockwork, so we find that out later in the book that it actually does work with this whole end scene with Nate and the whole Shadowhunter crew and all the clockworks and all that stuff. They use it on one of the clockworks and everything's about to explode, and Will like saves Tessa and like covers her and all the stuff. Will got her because he's got like shards of metal stuck into his back because he's cute and protective and he wanted to protect Tessa. But also Nate dies and I was like, whoa. I didn't like him, but he tried to like redeem himself in his last breaths. So I was like, I still don't like you though, because you were annoying. After the Shadowhunters learn all this information about Benedict Lightwood, they go to him and they say that he needs to tell the Clave that he sided with Charlotte and that Charlotte should run the Institute, not him, because Benedict wanted to run the Institute for Mortmain to have access to. And they tell this stuff, and Gideon goes on the Shadowhunter side, and Gabriel's just like in shock, and he's like in disbelief, and he doesn't want to believe it. So he stays with his dad and all this stuff. So, you know, Gideon goes and moves in the Institute, which means he's going to be with Sophie, and it's going to be so cute. And, okay. I'm going to rewind a bit because I totally forgot to mention this. Like, after the ball, Will, like, fought this demon, and he wanted Magnus to call the demon who cursed him when he was a child, and Magnus did. And we find out that the curse wasn't true, like, at all. Like, no one Will loves is gonna die because of him. And so the first thing Will does is he wants to go and find Tessa and like proclaim his love to her. So that's what he does. My stomach just growled so loud. So that's what he goes and does, but he gets there too late because Jem already proposed to Tessa and she said yes. And I'm just like, Tessa, why couldn't you wait a little bit and be like, Jem, let me think about it. You're 16, Tessa. You have time to think about marriage. The very last scene is someone opening the door to the Institute, and it's Cecily Herondale. Cecily. And she wants to come stay at the Institute and be with her brother. And I was like, cutie. Yes, this book was so good. I'm already reading Clockwork Princess, and I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Phenomenal work. I'm in love with everybody. Well, not Nate, or Mortmain, or Jessamine, but everyone else has my love and affection. Especially Will Herondale, because I swear, he's Ian Somerhalder. And also, I picture Jem to be the same as Sebastian. Not like inside, but like physically. Because they both have like silver hair and those like silver eye things. So I picture Lucky Blue Smith. But, oh man. I'm in love. I love them so much. So, stay tuned for my Clockwork Princess review, because once I finish this sucker, I will have one up. And thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.